was arrested alongside 2 others. And she's appealing to the police to release her husband. He's the breadwinner and they've been suffering since the day arrest, adding that it was based on an intelligence report. It was based on an intelligence report that they were arrested and the investigation is ongoing. They'll follow up the case, however, did not give details on the case. Others later shelved it due to what they described as fragile security situation in the state. Well, we're still seeing a lot more with Ndume. He rejected new office in the National Assembly and he's given the committee a copy of his chief confidential secretary, explained that the offices are traditionally allocated based on seniority. And part of the letter addressed to the chairman of the Senate Services Committee titled Office, the allocation of the office by office on the 4th floor. Well, this drama is just a lot. Looking at the APC quote, a constitution to security threats of the Nigerian government, and because of that, he was removed as the chief whip. But now it seems as though he's that is most senior to him is Senator Ahmed Lawan. And while we have some voices in the news, let's take a listen. This one is by the police. This is talking about there's no need for protests, especially in the FCT. Benneth Igwe, Commissioner of Police, the FCT, is saying that Nigerians residing in the FCT were bedeviled with security challenges until this government came on board, and road infrastructure, even the rural areas, are evidently clear in the FCT. Let's listen to what he had to say.
People are talking of insecurity now. They don't talk of insecurity in FCT again. It's the government, this government, that has made a difference, very clear. We have been in FCT. We have not seen things like this before in FCT. You can see the roads. You can see even in the rural areas. There's no boundary of FCT I do not know. From the first state boundary us. So, and the roads has been to those areas, many of those areas. I'm telling you absolutely, I'm not exaggerating.
But you do know that this protest is nationwide. It's not just the FCT, and it's not only about security issues that people are protesting about.
Yeah, I agree. So they said it's hunger. Some said it's bad government. Some said it's hunger. As if it is bad government. Why are you talking about bad government when you know that the government in FCT is doing well, and we have not done anything to say that government is not doing well in FCT, because the difference is very clear. Absolutely very, very clear. Because since we resumed, since few months I resumed, you can see new roads in FCT, in Maitama, in Asokoro, in everywhere. They're moving up. And good things happening. So you cannot talk about bad government when we are seeing the difference. It cannot be real. I'm sorry.
Well, there might be some improvements in the FCT in terms of infrastructure.
Yes.
But we're talking about the entire country and the cost of living, the cost of food, and so many other things that are affecting people. So you would understand why people want to register their discontent with the government.
Yes, that's why we said, if it is a compulsory that you must protest, if it becomes absolutely that you must protest, don't make it violent. You can protest very normal. After all, a lot of miscreants have been protesting, and we are leaving them. We have not killed anybody about protest. People that are disgruntled, they have right to protest. But what we are saying is that don't make it violent. Once you made any attempt to make it violent, we will react. We will react, absolutely.
What do you mean by you will react?
If you make it violent, we come out violently. No person has monopoly of violence. Nobody.
Right. So what do you mean violently? You will go into the streets?
If they go to the street and start damaging people's vehicle, because they will first of all block the highways and start damaging people's vehicles and start dismantling, entering different shops. Last time they entered ShopRite, they started looting people's waste. They entered markets and started looting people's things. And somebody would like us to keep quiet. We cannot keep quiet, man.
So what specific measures are you putting in place? Because it looks like this protest will happen. What are the measures you're putting in place in order to manage this? Because protests can also be peaceful. People just saying this is what we need and this is our demands.
Yes.
Or these are our demands.
The protest, if the protest is peaceful, we don't have any problem with it. What we are against is protest that is violent in nature. when you go and buy miscries for them to damage people's things, because maybe you have anything against the people of Nigeria or you have anything against the government of the country, it doesn't make it up. So, and that's why we're saying, if there's compulsory thing you must protest, don't make it violent. Protest like every other person that has been protesting. We wouldn't mind.
All right, even though he didn't answer based on what measures, specific measures the police is putting in place to ensure that it doesn't get violent, we'll watch and see how all that drama plays out. Meanwhile, a conversation was had yesterday as regards this issue of a planned protest.
Is that happening?
No, it's not.
Felix Morka, who is the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, talked about the fact that this particular protest is completely miscalculated. He said President Tinubu has just spent over a year in office. When an individual gets into office, he or she is allowed time to govern. They can't make this kind of harsh, definitive assessment of a president who has been in office for less than 2 years. And Nigerians have been asking, what is difficult to understand about the fact that people just want to let their views or their discontent be heard by the president, right? In case, according to a Senator Ali Ondume, who said that the president might not actually know or might not actually be aware of the real picture of things. Well, Nigerians want to let him be aware, firsthand. They want to tell him their problems firsthand, right? So what is so difficult about understanding that Nigerians want to just register their displeasure to the government so the president himself, is aware of what exactly they're passing through? Should, in case there's anyone should there be anyone who is trying as much as they can to let the president be shielded from what exactly is going on in the country, they want to let him know that they're unhappy and they're hungry. Of course, seeing the fact that the federal government started selling rice at 40,000 naira, it seems as though the president and the federal government as a whole, because it was during Buhari's administration that we knew that the federal government and the presidency and the president are 3 different elements altogether. So since we saw the federal government saying that 40,000 naira will be what is sold for a bag of 50 kg rice, where it's you can deduce from that the federal government is aware that people are hungry. If you could decide to subsidize rice to people, right? So it has been established that you understand that people are hungry. So let them be allowed to express their anger and hunger in different ways. I mean, protest is a civil right. Let's listen to what Felix Morka had to say about this.
Again, if he says in 2012,
is that happening?
No, it's not. Look, people, again, if he says that, then he's saying that the people themselves don't have any sort of human agency, that the people he's referring to lack the capacity to decide for themselves how they think or how they act in relation to the present circumstances. Himself, he's making a decision. Nobody is forcing him to decide to take the position that he's taken. So why would he second guess somebody else who is taking a contrary view? People who have said this is not the time for this, they have their reasons, and I happen to also second that opinion, that I think that this is completely miscalculated, because this president, who has been in office for just about a year, has not even had the time. Normally when you get into office, people give you time, 4-year term. We can't make this sort of harsh definitive assessment of a president who is in office, been in office for just about a year. That'd be unfair in some ways.
Okay.
All right. Another conversation also was had with a Dan Ulasi, former chairman of the National Republican Convention, Anambra State. He talked about a planned protest. He said Tinubu government demonizing Nigerians to incite them to terrorism. This is what he had to say. Let's take a listen from the horse's mouth.
In 2012, there was a lot of tolerance. The man who was president in the government which he served was one of the most brilliant people I have had the privilege in my life to meet with. Even though I was much older than himself. But he treated me like a father and said why he does certain things. And so if you're tolerant about other people's opinion, you should be able to take anything. You know, if somebody says you're an idiot, it depends on the voice, and somebody else says you're an idiot, you could get annoyed with the tone of the sentence, of the pronouncement. So it's difficult to really explain properly what informs Tinubu. This is a man I had met one-on-one when he was a senator. My good friend, late Senator Okadibo. They were very close. They were all in SDP. Then I was chairman of NRC. They come to my hotel room. They were very close. They were all in SDP. Then I was chairman of NRC. They come to my hotel room in Abuja. They were excited. Why? Because on 2 occasions they had seen me with Major General Musa Yaradua, who wanted me to join his party. That he sees me on television and I'm convinced and that with due humility. I said, no, if you win nomination of SDP, I will join you. Because I think you have a purpose. Then my party hadn't any proposal about which direction. And finally, Stofa emerged and I was proven right. So they normally see me. So that was how I got close to him. So I didn't see him again until he became governor against PDP. This happened. There was a time PDP took over 5 out of the 6 states. It was only Lagos that survived. And I'm not unmindful of his courage. He's a very courageous person. But I doubt if the same courage applies now. You know, there are forms of courage, thinking courage, physical courage. Are they really thinking? Because this man who has gone through the process, he just didn't fly in from the
voice of Dan Ulassi, who had a lot to say about the president. You should go check out that conversation. He was a former chairman of the PDP in Anambra State as well. He had a lot to say about the president. We'll watch and see how that plays out. I know. So we'll be reaching out to Rufai right about now. You can join the conversation 0808 312 8618. The number once again 0808 312 8618 is the number to call to be a part of our conversation. You can send a WhatsApp message to that same number, as well as join our YouTube live at Voice of the People Abuja. We're live on YouTube, Voice of the People Abuja. All right, we have Mr. Rufai on the phone. Good morning.
Morning, guys. So let me say some things, please. There's a video circulating of protesters or people being threatened in a market in Lagos by thugs. That video was shared with the police IGP. He feigned ignorance of that video. Nothing has been done. Also, there are pictures of traditionalists moving around streets in Lagos, daring people that did not come out to protest. So if the violence happens, we know where it's coming from. Because if the IGP is feigning ignorance of all sorts of actors, but anyway, what am I saying? Is this not the same country that during the election, a popular transport star in Lagos threatened people, and the police CP was saying he was just joking, and the threat actually came to pass where people were hurt during the elections. So let them keep feigning ignorance of all these threats. It was brought up in a meeting with the board, Odugolu and the DBF, and they brought up the issue. Well, the police IGP was just concerned about the fact that they should not go more than their bounds. Secondly, they've gone to get a court judgment from the Federal High Court, and I'm looking that they must be restricted. And the court is also giving them this judgment that people must be restricted as against their fundamental human rights. So if anything goes awry, we know where it's coming from. Secondly, I'd like to pay tribute, and I just hope in this time of ethnic bigotry and strife in our country, one love like the words of Oyeka will keep us together. Because we don't have that love amongst us. The elegant stallion passed only yesterday. I was sad when I got the message in the middle of the night. May God continue to rest her soul. But it is sad what is happening in Nigeria. And we keep speaking the truth. You see, the darkness will not last for too long. Although it looks like it has lasted for a long time. But it will be break of dawn one day in this country. and the force of good will triumph over evil. So we'll keep speaking the truth. I'll keep saying it the way it is.
All right. It's really, really sad what has happened with Mrs. Onyeka Onwenu. Our hearts and our prayers are with her family at this point. We also have in the news the Lagos drama which you have touched upon. Moving on from that, Mr. Rufai, let's join this conversation with, let's look at the Lagos State. Now, we got reports that the Lagos State administration has revealed a bold proposal to increase tax revenue collection by 200 billion naira yearly by utilizing the synopsis documents for the Eco Revenue Plus Summit is expected to hold in September. They're talking about taxing distant workers, taxing digital influencers. I don't know if this is going to be a taxing spree for the Lagos State government. With so much that has been collected, what has been done in Lagos State?
As usual, you see, that's the mindset now. Believe in taxing people, but what you collect in taxes from the people are not accountable to the resources. The resources are ill-managed, are ill-looted. So resources will not be properly deployed. We use to entail more loans. So why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? Let's keep deceiving ourselves.
All right. On this,
let's stop deceiving us. We all know now. It's never about you. People are always about themselves. So let's stop self-deceit.
Okay, we had Catholic bishops coming out to talk about this particular issue. They've talked about governance by palliatives. Intimidation is not a solution to Nigerians' problems. Catholic bishops of Ibadan, ecclesiastical province comprising 4 states, have said that governance by palliatives and intimidation by hide and seek methods cannot provide a permanent solution to the challenges faced by this country. It was contained in a communique, and it was signed by the Archbishop of Ibadan Catholic Archdiocese. And they have said in the recent past governance by palliatives, by intimidation, or by hide and seek methods cannot provide a permanent solution to the challenges faced by Nigerians. However, on the planned protest, the clerics have called on Nigerians who planned to stage a protest to be peaceful and orderly.
Guess it, but you're not surprised now. This is always being government by intimidation. Look at the intimidation of the government saying anything about it. If we had the same government and they truly want people to trust them, by now, shouldn't they have fished out all those people that were going to harass people and intimidate people not to come out to protest in the market? Did they? Didn't we see how videos emerged of them sharing money for people that went to protest against the protest? Yes. In a country where you have a regime bishop, you have a regime protester, you have people that don't, play.
But Mr. Rufai, we can't be sure that it was the government who gave them money. We can't be sure. We can't be sure that it was the government who gave those people monies.
Yes, we can't be sure that it was the government who gave them, but whoever gave them money, organized them to go and protest. And we can see for ourselves now what is going on. So whoever gave them money, it shows that they were arranging. That's just it. Just like the case of the bishop, the arranging bishop. So let's keep deceiving ourselves, guys. When we populate a lot of ourselves, we'll see the kind of ambition state we're going to create. Let's keep deceiving ourselves. Let's continue. But the Catholic bishops are correct. We can't run a country based on intimidation. That's just it. We can't run a country based on intimidation. See.
All right.
You can also argue with me that we can't be sure it's the government that sends people to go and threaten people in the market. But if you have a working government, if government has that, I just want to apprehend those people that want to threaten people. So since they can't apprehend it, that means there's a level of conflict because they raised it with the IGP. So when you see any skirmish happens, you will know where it's definitely coming from. So let's not stop deceiving ourselves.
All right. I don't know if the protesters are going to continue with the confined spaces, especially in Lagos, where they defined.
No, but why should they be in a confined space? They can have a rally, but why should they be in a confined space? Why should they be in a confined space? So let's see how it pans out. Let's be looking.
All right. Mr. Rufai, finally, before I let you go, Anireti Kingibe has said that, we know that they've not had a good working relationship since they assumed their respective offices. And we saw the drama that played out with Wike and Anireti Kingibe. She has come out to say that she's willing to work with Wike if he apologizes over his offensive comments and threatening to unseat her as an FCT senator in 2027. An apology from a Wike. I don't know how possible that will be. Maybe a song will be his response to her.
In an ideal sense, he's supposed to apologize. In an ideal sense, the backlash that's supposed to follow him when he said those things is supposed to be intense. But he doesn't care. You know, Nigeria is a country that once you can get away with anything. It's just like what Trump said, that I can shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue and nothing will happen. So people can do and undo. That's just it. So we are not ideal. That's just it. We are not ideal. If it's an ideal country and we have a real working government, by now, people should have pushed for his own removal from that position. But he won't be removed because the person put him there is a political favor. They are doing each other. So I'm happy that we should step our foot on the ground. If he wants to work with her, he should work with her. If he doesn't want to work with her, it's on record. But me, I know tyranny will not continue for so long. It's not going to be the end of it.
All right, we'll watch and see how all this drama unfolds, especially in the country. Tomorrow, the planned protest is supposed to start. We'll watch and see. And we're just hoping that Nigerians ensure that it remains peaceful. Mr. Rufai, the grounding of Arik Air, what is its effect on our aviation and aerospace development?
The minister claims it's because of a pre-existing debt that is respecting the Supreme Court order. But also, don't forget there are many passengers that have been left stranded by reasons of it. It just also deepens the fear about the aviation sector. So can we do things more appropriately? Because take, for instance, somebody will send me a message yesterday that he had checked in his bags into the plane before they said the plane can move, that he's been grounded. So can we do things in a more tidy way? These are the questions we really should ask ourselves.
All right. Finally, Mr. Rufai, before you go, you had a conversation with Dan Ulasi yesterday, and it was quite an intense conversation. I don't know what your take is on his stance, especially with the president and his capacity.
I totally disagree with him, and I made my point clear. You can't say people that use fraudulent means to get their way, because we can all be fraudulent if we want to, but we choose to play by the rules. You can't say people that use their fraudulent means have common sense, they are smarter than the others. It's not that the others can, it's because the others choose to be able to play by the rule and let it be fair and win fair. There's something called winning fair. So you cannot support them and be happy. And when I asked him a question on Wiki, he was trying to pivot. He said, nobody has been punished for anti-party activities, so why should Wiki be punished? Is that the general assessment, or the fact that the man has done anti-party activities and the man is wrong?
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Hello, Mr. Rufai. All right. With Dan Ulasi yesterday, the conversation was he was talking about common sense and the fact that the president used it into getting into office, and he was commending the president for that. And there was okay. Hello. Oh.
That's just refuse like that. To fraudulently get your way and everything. We cannot do it. You think we can't all do it? We can all do it. We can all choose not to play by the rules. But it's the decency of humanity. There's something called decency. After all, in the end, it's your name that will remain. What will people say about your name? There are people that have all the money in the world that we know they got it through fraudulent means. When they pass, what do people say about them? You think it's by throwing money everywhere. People know when you don't have integrity. They know what you stand for. You think they don't know? Let's quit the self-deceit and the national BS and fix this country and make it work.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai. We'll watch and see how tomorrow plays out. I'm sure everyone is a bit antsy as to how that will go about. But we're just calling for peace and calm to ensure that the protest goes peacefully and smoothly.
And please, I would like to sound the public way. If for any reason you as a protester go to get violence, then you are worse than the situation in Nigeria. So please don't be violent. Go out there and uphold peace. Don't succumb to provocation. Protest your protest and go into your houses. That's just it.
All right.
And please don't go blocking roads. That's another one. Know as that you have the right to protest. People also have the right of movement. Please remember that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai. Have a good day.
Yeah.
All right. We have some calls coming in. We'll take as much as we can. 0808 312 8618 0808 312 8618 is the number to call to be a part on our YouTube page. Let's know what you think about any of our headlines. We've talked about the protests. We've talked about some of the issues. Hello, good morning.
Lady G.
How far now? Are you with me? I'm good.
Lady G, you can see now that the network issue is not about my phone. Are you telling me now that Mr. Rufai phone is not good? If I cannot buy it, I agree with you, unbiased journalist, I will still continue to call you like that until when you get appointment, either from Labour Party or PDP or the same APC. Because we have sponsored it before. You remember your friend, Anjorin Gilali, when he was in AIT, he insulted government, he criticized Buhari. Before you know, they throw food to him. Anjorin Gilali will not answer you again today. Call him, say, my friend, come to the studio, come and tell us what's going on in the presidency. He will not pick your call. Owigo said it, Kule said it. He didn't pick you people's call again. So when you people media are talking, I will continue to celebrate you until you get appointment. Mr. Rufai, God will give you long life. I pray the next government will give you appointment. We will hear I will maybe I will still stay with us. I know it's listening. What I want to say, Mr. President, good morning to you. I don't think it is too late for you to address this right now. Lady G, I would beg police, they should take it easy. You hear what I was talking about? We should converge in total place. How can we converge protest? Ministry, they are planning to block road. We know because they know that we are afraid of them. But they should remember, the chief of army staff, chief of defense, they are enjoying all the officers. They are living where their children are. You, corporate, use your brain, any job they give you. Don't shoot fellow do it start.
Hello. All right, Adewumi, we've lost you on that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
I can hear you. Good morning.
I cannot hear you, but I just want to put my mouth in this whole scenario. Thanks for the last caller. Thanks for Rufai. They have all been fair and sincere. We should keep telling the government the truth. I am an APC member, but that I'm a party man doesn't mean what is going on in this country. It's not touching me. It's also touching me. So I'm being fair and sincere. For this protest, we are coming out to do it, but the intention is peaceful protest. We should keep all forms of destruction, all thoughts of destruction out of it. The security men should guide us. We just want to come out peacefully and go back peacefully. No blockage of road, nothing. We just want to protest that we are hungry. That is it. God bless VOP.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Go ahead and leave your comments on our YouTube. It is at Voice of the People Abuja. Don't forget to subscribe. We need those subscriptions. So subscribe. Always hit the subscribe button and let's know what you think about any of our stories so far. Thank you so much for listening to Voice of the People.